Tomorrow's never promised, but now is the time.
On this episode of Coming Undone, I just got some news that I will be incorporating my old therapist or counselor, and she's going to be talking about addiction.
So this creates a split self where the person thinks and feels one way and behaves another.
I know my body when I hear something, see something, that I feel something in my stomach. I feel an anxiety.
Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so excited. Today is August 1st, and I just got some news that I will be incorporating my old therapist or counselor, and she's going to be talking about addiction in this video, and I'm just so excited. She said either the 16th or the 17th of August, and I'm so excited, but also nervous too, because I've never done anything like this. But it also makes me happy because it's like God showing me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life, and I'm just blown away. I really am blown away.
But I did want people to know, it's not, I didn't hunt you guys down.
Yeah.
I didn't say, hey, come promote me. I really feel that all three of us would like for people to know that there is help. Whether it's me or whoever else is out there doing the work, just do your work, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, because I came to Mary Jo the day that you emailed her about doing this whole thing.
Oh, right. When you emailed Jenny, she said in session, she's like, I really want to share my story. Mm-hmm. I want to give people hope. And I'm like, I have another gal that wants.
I want to bring awareness to mental health because it is a big epidemic in our world, and that there's not a lot of resources. There's not enough resources for the demand, and it's like I want to bring awareness to it and bring let people know that there's hope.
Mm-hmm. Hi guys, so we are here today and we are going to be interviewing my therapist, my old therapist. She's an amazing therapist. She helped me out a lot, and do you want to just get started?
Sure. Hi, I'm Mary Jo Peterson. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and I had the honor of working with this wonderful, beautiful lady, and there is a lot of hope that Elisa wanted to share with everyone, that there is hope for addiction and for family members who have an addict in your family that you love. We love the addict. We love the family members. Both of them are in crisis and suffering, and the problem is not the addict or the family members. It is the addiction is the problem, not the addict or the members. Addiction's the problem. And addiction has a certain amount of behaviors that the addict has that other family members are witnessing. For example, if an addict denies that they have an addiction and the family member clearly sees it, that is going to cause what we call a split self. And that means that the family members then, they're seeing denial, and then they're having to think and behave a certain way and feel another. So they're having to make it okay for the addict, thinking, oh my goodness, I have to live another reality because that reality I have to live with the addict to survive, and I have to be in another reality to live my life. So there you create this divided self. And when the addict then projects their shame onto you, in other words, they don't want to look at their behavior. I mean, it is debilitating when you're feeling loss of control and you have increased tolerance and you're preoccupied. You start feeling a little bad about yourself, and so then you kind of but it's out of control. You don't know how to stop it. So you just look at your family members and you just say, well, what's wrong with them? And you project, tell them how bad they are. And so the family member's like, well, maybe I am bad. Maybe I am horrible. And so then I use a diagram like this describing the split self, where you have part of yourself feels like I must not have any worth, and the other self is, well, actually this side says, you know, I still kind of do know I have some worth, but this side says, well, no, the addict parent or the addict significant other or spouse is saying I don't, and I'm terrible and bad because they're projecting their shame onto me. So this creates a split self where the person thinks and feels one way and behaves another. And this is classic when I see families who the problem, where addiction is the problem. Then once the self gets split, and I don't know whether I'm good or bad, I'm a failure, I'm not, then I can kind of feel a little crazy because I don't know which part is me now. Then I might act out because now I'm feeling kind of crazy. And then the addict can see that I'm playing a role now. The addict can say, oh good, I don't ever have to look at me because you're going to play the crazy role for me now. And so the addict is going to try to get you in that box, whether that's the crazy role or the one who makes them laugh, which we call the mascot, or the one that stays out of the way, the lost one doesn't get in trouble, the one that enables it, the hero child that makes everybody look good, everything to distract the addict off of their addiction and onto the family member. So the role is really key in healing from that role in order to not keep the addiction going. So my friend Jenny here, she has some experience going through some family member issues of addiction and how she played a role. So Jenny, I'm going to have you speak a little bit about what that role was like for you and how did you get out of it?
It was very difficult to play that role because it just felt like there was always something wrong with me. There was always something wrong with me, and, you know, I was the bad one. I was just a failure. I was never going to be anything good. I was nothing, any value. And getting into relationships and not realizing that, you know, where it started and how it carried on throughout my life. You get into relationships thinking that it's a new relationship, expecting different results, seeing that it just repeats itself because you're not aware.
You're not aware you're in the addictive process.
Yes,
with the addict.
Yes. And so, but realizing now to be able to see it and to be able to create healthy boundaries and not allow that craziness to come in and see where it's coming from, you know, step back, be able to look at it and see like that you identify it. You know, there is that hope out there to get the help that you need. There's encouragement. There's Mary Jo here that can help you show where those to what it looks like and be able to recognize those triggers that when you're in those kind of toxic relationships or around those toxic people, that how you can spot it, how you can see it, and, you know, also how our body reacts to it. I know my body when I hear something, see something, that I feel something in my stomach. I feel an anxiety, and that
that's what you want to listen to.
Yeah, that's what you want to listen to. And because those are signs that are telling you that this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel right. And that in that, you know, that you know, is not something healthy for you. And so that's, you know.
Time to make a boundary,
Yes.
take a deep breath.
Yes.
Go take care of yourself.
Yes. Yes. And, you know, I mean, we understand that, you know, there's family members that we have to be around. That we can, you know, set a time limit on things, and that we can, you know, stay in that healthy boundary, and that when people come to you in that toxic, that you have that boundary and you remove yourself from that situation to protect yourself from it. And
yeah, if an addict says I've got a problem and they're not in denial, then everyone has a chance to heal. Now, if the addict does not think they have an issue, that's where you have to, if you have to either remove yourself, or you actually join the addictive process, the destructive addictive process, because you then have to become codependent and make it okay for the addict, and hide the fact that you know the addiction's there, and there's hiding, and there's secrets, and there's enabling, and there's codependency where I do everything for you at my expense, and that just keeps the addiction just rolling. It just fuels it.
Yes.
And so then what happens is, with all of these dynamics, everyone starts feeling bad. Like, no one's feeling good in addiction. The addiction gives you feel good for a little bit, but then the addiction takes you. And that's where the brain, it's brain driven, by the way. This is a whole brain driven process, which is why addicts need to go to a doctor and get on medication to stop the craving. That's the medical end of addiction. But there's addiction affects every area of your life: psychological, emotional, social, spiritual, every which way it affects your life. So we're talking about the psychological piece and the family piece and the emotional piece is what happens in therapy. And this is where we look at the behaviors driving the addiction, like denial, like rationalizing your behavior and making everything okay, like projecting shame onto the family members around you. So denial, projection, and rationalizing all your behaviors okay, even though your family's having a problem. And those are precisely the behaviors that create this split self, which is where people believe I'm bad, or I'm no good, or I am but I'm not, and I'm just split, and I can't move very fast. And when the person gets like that, it feels so bad. Feeling bad drives addiction as well, because I'm feeling bad. I don't want to feel my feelings, because I can't confront, because the addict's going to deny, and I can't, and they're making me feel like the bad guy, so I'm feeling like maybe I am the bad guy. So you see, everybody's feeling bad. And then that's when everyone can go into some other kind of addiction, where there's eating disorders, work addiction, gambling, sexually acting out, video games, affairs, porn, relationship addiction, everything. A lot of the addictions, here they come after those set of behaviors split the self, and that's when addictions happen. So that's all of the destructive processes. So in therapy, we talk about how to heal that. So we talk about, like, going to 12-step groups that will, let you know you didn't cause it, can't cure it, you can't control it.
You're not crazy.
You're not crazy. This is an addictive process going on, and you get that support there at those groups. And what you need is like a whole village of support. You need to address your issues emotionally and psychologically. You need new coping skills.
Yes.
So, and you need to feel your feelings. And sometimes those feelings aren't, like, you don't want to feel them, right? You have to, like, really want to be here.
Yes.
To feel them and know that you're going to get through them. I wonder if maybe both of you could talk about how you got through some difficult feelings. Like, you had to come in and say, help, I want this. I don't want to feel miserable. I don't want to feel bad. I want to feel my feelings and get through this. This is what I think both of you had. So talk a little bit about, like, how hard it was for you to face some of those feelings, because you do go through grief and loss. And because you miss out probably anywhere from a decade or more of your life, because you're battling with addiction, you're trying to figure it out, you're not getting on with your growth process. And so when you come into health finally, you can look back and go, wow, I just lost like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years of my life. And so then that's why people feel a grief and loss, and then they don't want to feel that, and they can potentially go back into addiction themselves, or addiction for themselves the first time. But they don't have to go there if they come in like Jenny and Elisa, who are like, I want this. I don't want to feel that bad feeling. I want my life.
Yes.
That's what it takes. So I wanted you guys to speak a little bit about that.
I know for me, like, when I knew that, like, it was time, I was, like, having freakouts. Like, I was melting down, crying all the time over the littlest things, like, the biggest mistake, like, the little tiny mistakes that I would make. I was thinking that I was, like, a horrible person. It was just awful. So, you know, my mom was like, you know, I think you really need to go to therapy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I did. And I think coming here and learning different things that I could say when I'm either feeling that way, or if I make a mistake or something, I honestly say to myself, I say, okay, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect in this world. I made a mistake, and now I'm going to fix it if it ever comes up again, you know, like, I'm not gonna just melt down every time that happens. And I think that was the biggest thing that helped me through it all, was just remembering and just keep telling myself that all the time.
Right, instead of going into the victim, the bad guy, the rescuer, that's that drama triangle that you get locked in that feels miserable. And instead, you're like, no, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I may make a mistake. That doesn't mean I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
And that's healing. That gets you off of the drama triangle into normalcy, into saying, I can make mistakes, but I'm not a mistake, and I can do something maybe wrong, but get back up and realize I can get back on track again. This is where you heal and get off of that drama triangle. So that was excellent work. So what about you, Jenny?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, beating yourself up and beating yourself down in your mistakes, and especially, you know, if somebody from the outside is coming at you and even wanting to beat you down even more in it, and then you're already beating yourself up, is to be able to recognize it and realize that, you know, to be able to step back and look at it and see that, okay, you know, it's something that I need to work on. I need to recognize this, but, you know, nobody is perfect, and that we learn from our mistakes. And I think, you know, I think the hardest thing for me in my therapy here has just been, you know, I've been faced with a lot of denial. A lot of people have denied, you know, when they say something and you say something back to them that, I don't know what you're talking about, and trying to make you look like you're crazy, and you know that you're not. And when that happens over and over and over and over, that, you know, realizing that there's people that, you know, want to make you look like you're just crazy when you're not, and you know you're not, and being able to have the tools to recognize that and see that that's not me, that's this person over here. And that
So learning, you're able to learn, like, I'm about ready to be sucked in that role. Yes. I'm going to take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize what's going on. So I recognize what's happening. Yes. That if I join that addictive process and become crazy for this person, they want me to be in that role. Yes. Then I'm going to get sick if I just stay there. So I really need to just say, you know, have a nice day. I need to go take care of myself. Yeah. And not join the insanity. Yes, because it leads to that toxic shame. And when it happens for a long period of time, it can really take you to a bad place that, you know, it's not good. You don't, you know, enjoy quality of life anymore. You don't, you know, feel like, you know, this life is just, you know, not what you want it to be. And, you know, it becomes very dark because you just feel like there's nothing good about you, because you're constantly being looked at like you're wrong, how you see things and how you feel things are wrong. But in turn, being able to see that and recognize that through therapy, and to get those tools and know those triggers to where you can step back and know that it's not you. Mm-hmm. It's not you. And well, it's really not you or the addict. It's this addictive process going on that we need to turn the lights on for folks and say, this is what's happening to both the family member and the addict.
Yes.
This is all the processes that are happening. And a lot of times, if you go back in the addict's life, they may have had some trauma way back here where they first started drinking during birth to 18, some trauma in their life, which they were too young, they couldn't cope with their feelings. So they go into addiction. That's how it can get started. Yes. Although it's brain driven, number one. But if the brain is set up for it and that trauma happens early on, then say that's your parent and they get traumatized, so they drink. So they're stuck at the age where they first drank. Yes. So then they're gonna realize at some level they've lost control over their drinking. They've got kids now, and now the kids are at the mercy of their drinking, and they would really like to stop and they feel bad, they don't know how. And so you can have compassion. I have lots of compassion for addicts, but they need accountability. The biggest thing for addicts is they need an accountability support team, and that's through AA groups and 12-step groups. And if you have a faith, use your faith, church, synagogue, I don't care what it is, use your faith, therapy skills. You need help every single day. So we need to make sure the addict gets help and the addict has care, and that their trauma gets healed. And I do trauma work too, and I do EMDR, so that helps get some of that trauma process so they can get back to their lives and enjoying their lives, so that the family members can also heal from their role they played with the addict in order to survive the system. So then you stop playing roles, the addict gets help to take accountability. Then you get more of the person, less of the addiction. It gets managed. That's when life can be enjoyable then. When that system, that hurting system that's really hurting and in crisis and needs a lot of help. I have compassion for both addicts in recovery and for family members who suffer with these dynamics and how to heal from them. Mm-hmm. And so we have two beautiful ladies that have done a great job, have come and just said, give this to me, I want it, I want to feel better, and they got it. They got to feel better. I think you both have worked on healing the roles you played. I think you've worked on feeling your feelings, letting that uncomfortable, realize something doesn't feel right, I need to get out, or I need to make a boundary. Yes. And so having the feelings and not running from them and knowing you can get through them into a better place. You don't have to stay feeling stuck or bad. Yes. So healing the role and not feeling so split. I think you both have more of a solid sense of self now. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Rather than come in and, you were self-doubting, you didn't defer to everybody and make everybody else count, and you were just going to be at the mercy of everybody. And now you have a strong sense of self that's full of compassion, but full of boundaries. Yes. So, and not playing roles for people. Yes. But still having compassion, but not playing the role. So having compassion with a boundary. And so that's the opposite of those dynamics is going to be health. So that's taking accountability, feeling your feelings, talking about things that need to be talked about. It's open, honest, and real, and that's when people come into health. Yes.
Healthy communication. Healthy communication. You learn how to healthy communicate with somebody and be able to set that boundary.
Give me an example of how you communicated in a way that wasn't healthy, and how do you communicate now in a way that is healthy?
I would probably buy into their what do you mean I'm paranoid, and what am I doing, or why do you say that? And because then I'm inviting that in, and now when I hear something like that, I recognize it, I see it, and I'm like, I can say, well, is there anything else that we have to talk about? And no, okay, well, have a nice day. and just be able to see it. And they're just, and I know, like, recently, you know, I've kind of dumbfounded somebody in that, like, you know, that I was just stayed calm and in the same voice and didn't get upset about it. I didn't raise my voice. My behavior didn't change. My body language didn't change. And I think that they were just kind of surprised that she wasn't buying into it. She wasn't playing into, you know, like wanting to, you know, ask questions and get mad and get upset. That she just was like, well, is there anything else? Okay, well then have a nice day. And that's, you know,
just easy breezy.
Easy breezy.
Life doesn't have to feel so difficult.
Yeah.
Communication can be way easier. Is that what you found too, Elisa?
Yeah, I did. It was, communication has always been like a hard thing for me, but I think coming here was something that, like, being able to, like, just express myself more, because I was having a hard time, like, you know, expressing myself and telling people, you know, like, how I felt. I just kind of, like, took it and I didn't tell them. So I think it really helps now that I'm, like, expressing myself more.
So you can identify your feelings and knowing your body's kind of letting you know when you should speak up and when you should kind of say thank you very much and leave, or when to speak up, kind of navigating life, you know, kind of listening to the body is what it, you know, you get in touch with the split self. When you're divided because of those dynamics we talked about, you start to lose that, you start to not listen to that, your core of feelings. You just tune them out, because now it's like, well, am I good, am I bad? So I'm not in tune with my feelings.
And we just stand there. I mean, it's like we feel like we deserve that, we need to hear this. So we just stand there and we'll listen to, you know, somebody
berating you, and you'll take it.
And we'll take it, and we'll just stand there because we get stuck on what to say, you know, or how, you know, to where we don't want to feed into it, but we're like, okay, well, you know, I must deserve it. I'm bad anyways. I'm not good. And because, you know, over and over again.
Versus now, how are you?
Versus now, to where.
How long would you put up with it now?
Not very long at all. I mean, it's like, you know, I see it and it's like, okay, you know, goodbye.
I'm not going to join the insanity.
I'm not going to enjoy it and, join that insanity.
God bless you. Hope you have a nice day. I'm not joining this.
Yes. And that's the healthy way.
So that gives you peace.
Gives me
and you don't get wrapped up in the misery and then make your day miserable.
You don't feel like a doormat anymore, you know. I mean, and you can actually start feeling good because you're not constantly being afflicted with that toxic shame and guilt and, you know, the put downs and just making you just feel like you're just nothing of good. And to be able to have that peace and to recognize it, it's really, from the contrast is really amazing from one side to another, because I can look back in my journey and see, like, wow, you know, I can see how I went from here to here, and, you know, going through that grieving process and really feeling now like I'm on the other side of it, and being able to be happy with me.
Yeah, you know? And back to enjoying your life.
Back to enjoying my life, and you know, I feel it in just my presence that, you know, I see myself and feel different just because I'm not feeling that toxic yuckiness, you know. That's
awesome, Jenny.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And it's been beautiful for me to see you ladies grow like that and just really want it and really grab the tools and make your lives better and easier, you know, like life should be. So I want folks to know that I did not lasso Jenny and Elisa to do this. I'm not doing this to promote me. I mean, I suppose it would promote me in a way, but the thing is none of us here want to promote anything but health. And Elisa and Jenny came to me wanting to do this. I did not. So I'm not saying, I'm not using them to promote me. So this is something that we wanted collectively to do, to hear how people can get better. Jenny and Elisa wanted people to know how to get better.
Yes.
And I wanted to do this for them because they really I think, needed to share. You're like, I need to share this.
Yes, well, we want to give hope. We want to give encouragement to people out there that there is help out there.
Really wishing everybody a journey to health.
Yes.
That's what we all want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And I just want to let you guys all know, don't forget that there is links down below for everything that you need to help you, whether it's Al-Anon or if you're an addict and you need help like rehab. There's a bunch of links down below, so make sure you check the description and make sure you tune in next week for the next video. Bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next episode of Coming Undone. So today is July 5th, 2019, and I am going to be filming my mom for Coming Undone.
They say in Alcoholics Anonymous, the problem isn't the bottle, it's in between our ears. And that's so true. Like, you think you can never be normal. Even though I knew God, that wasn't enough to keep me sober.